All right. Are you feeling?
How am I feeling?
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good today. I'm just enjoying the sun coming through my window, being present to the colors of the sky. The blue is really nice. How are you?
Also, a lot of sunshine. Hmm. Got some more stuff after this until the sun goes down. I got a live on the other app and then another call. Yeah, it's a slow Sunday. It's going all right. It's like 80% good if you want to think in terms of good and bad, but let's say it's good.
Uh-huh.
80% pleasant, let's say.
Uh-huh. That's good. 80% above average. Yeah, well, I'm happy to be here and I'm glad that you have an 80% pleasurable day ahead of, well, you're almost through the day, I suppose, huh?
Hmm. What is your percentage?
I would say, well, I just got up. I slept in, so um so far I would probably say 75%, 75% pleasurable rising, just in the flow
Nice.
and perceivable for the rest of the day. I could definitely see it going to 90%.
Mhm.
Especially if you could get outside and go for a little hike in the forest. There's a special spot here on the land that we call the Tri Springs,
Mhm.
and it's where, Tri Springs. There's three different water water streams, water bodies that
Mhm.
conjoin, but it's not like a lot of water. It's really sweet, like just this little babbling brooks that combine.
Mhm.
And I like that spot a lot.
Nice.
There's a lot of nice spots here. So yeah, how how um how do you see our shared space here flowing and moving? Do you have a
Mhm.
an idea?
Um, well, do you have something that has been, so you asked, can we have a chat today? Can we have a chat on Sunday? Is there something like in your background frequency that is like really wanting to be talked about?
Not really. I was my intention was just to be present and acknowledge your request the other week of getting together, and so present for that and just kind of here in a grounded way and just open to however it
Mhm.
flows, or I'm here also if there's something for you that's more,
Mhm.
structural. you know.
Hmm. All right. Let's see. Let's see what's been up. What's been up today? What today? Hmm. Okay. Let's talk about like okay, obviously obviously like you guys are kind of remote. You're not in the city, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, to get to the big city, it's like dependent on where you're going, an hour to 2 hours.
Mm.
Um, but I mean, the city is huge, so it takes like an hour to get through the city, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it takes us like 10 minutes to get to the grocery store or to like the nearest town that
Mm-hmm.
we are closest to is like it's 10 minutes. And then to go to the children's school, it's 30 minutes. It's like everything around here is like a 20 to 40-minute drive, like other than the
Mm-hmm.
grocery. So, and then where we live, like here at Rainbow Bridge, we are on, over 300 acres. So it's really easy to not be a part of that other than Monday through Friday, I drive to Waldorf, and then
Mm-hmm.
I go to the grocery on Monday. And then that's otherwise it's just like I'm here, um like I don't even feel like I would actually need my phone because the phone could just be a computer that hooks to Wi-Fi because I'm so um grounding in to this
Mm-hmm.
space, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um which is delightful and also I think that sometimes get so much in my bubble of where I am at, even before being here at Rainbow Bridge. Like, just, I mean, I lived out in a little tiny itty bitty town. It took like 40 minutes to get anywhere on the lake before moving here. And before that,
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Western North Carolina in the mountains. And so even if I only have a 10 to 30-minute drive to go to the place where people are, I sometimes forget the energy that people are most consistently in, like the majority of people.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's really healthy for me to be very open, like when I am out and about, to kind of gauge where not everybody, but a large wave of people are energetically because I feel I set myself up in my own sphere of unconditional love and transmutation. You
Mm-hmm.
know? and I don't watch the news and I don't watch TV and I'm hardly even on social media much recently, in the past 6 months at least. So everybody fills me in on like what's going on, and then I go and I look.
Mm-hmm.
So the extended response, Dennis, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I wanted um to talk about is this so yesterday I went to like a small tourist town next to this bit bigger town that I'm in. And this is a pretty big, it's I believe like third biggest city in Spain at all. And then I went to like an hour drive away to a small city. And I found this little beach. And in the middle of the day, I sat down at that beach and there was a few people there. And I cannot remember when was the last time I heard that little of everything, like how silent it was.
Mm,
And everyone there was like affected by the silence and nobody wanted to break it. It was almost like every single step somebody made didn't make one sound. Nobody's breathing was affecting anyone else. And it was because there wasn't a lot of people there. It wasn't a big tourist spot and it was kind of slightly bit secluded. And I was there for I was supposed to go like to a comic convention, and instead of that I just laid there in the sand for 3 hours and just soak up the sun and breathe. And then okay, and then I was like, oh, okay, this is so different than the big tourist city that I'm in or the capital of Sweden where I lived for 3 years. It's mind-boggling how different you feel.
right.
And then today, I guess it was the energy of that little space that kind of got me in the flow. And over there, people are different. And today I'm coming out, and I had this problem for quite a while now, is going outside in these big capitals and walking around as if if all these people are kind of my tribe or something. Like, and I don't know why. It's like, you know, the image when the meme when the guy is driving the bicycle and then he puts a stick in his own bicycle and falls down and blames the government or whatever. That's how I that's how I feel every single time that I go out, is why do I expect so much from strangers in the streets? So
Uh,
I don't know how to gauge it. It's almost like every single time, like I go out and I'm like, look at the sunshine, look at whatever. Today is Sunday. I'm gonna, you know, I'm walking around like a tourist everywhere I go, hoping, and I guess I don't know. I'm expecting really too much from random strangers in the streets. And then I remember like people saying like New York, you know, or these big cities in America that I've never been, is when you walk down the streets, there's so many people there and nobody's looking at anyone, and I cannot imagine what it's like. So I don't know how this has been bugging me for a while.
uh-huh. Yeah, well, I mean, people are, I mean, everybody, including us to a certain degree, we're in our own life, and then we come together and there are similar threads or like common denominators in the energy frequency. So, I mean, you go through the cash register line and then, maybe there's a moment, with the person that you would never have any type of other life experience with the person at the cash register, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a moment where there's a joke or there's relating on a item purchased or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
But, generally, people are really in their heads, right? And not in their
Mm-hmm.
bodies. Or the people who are very much in their bodies are freaked out. And so they don't even go out in
Yeah.
public. They
Yeah.
order their groceries online. And then and then when they are in their body, it's not actually in their body, like embodied. It's more in a
Mm-hmm.
reactive state of their nervous system. Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
everybody else is like, this is where I'm going, this is what I'm doing, stay on task. Boom, 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 boom.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're in those big cities, it's like the only people that maybe you'll catch that are not in that currency are
Mm-hmm.
people who are casted out by society. I don't know if you've noticed that. So it's like the
Mm-hmm.
ones that, are maybe asking for money for food. Not all of them, but I'm saying that
I
if
get,
you're
yeah, yeah, yeah.
attention, you can look of like, oh, here's the person that's cast out of society, yet they're looking at the blue sky.
Mm.
They're observing the bird that's right there, or
Mm.
you know,
Yeah,
like
they're
they see,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I hear you and I feel you in that, and it's an interesting place to be and to, okay, well, what would be an ideal environment, for you, Dennis? Like, what would that look like? To be able to interact with people in person, that you can feel authentic and be yourself, and it's not this, where is everybody? Oh, you
Mhm.
guys are all sleepwalking. Great. You know?
Yeah, yeah. No, I totally understand that, you know, there are environments that suit me better and there are environments that don't. And like I don't go here in public transport. When I was in the capital of Sweden, I used to use public transport every day, and I used to imagine like how do people perceive like this person who is sitting across from them and staring them directly on a metro and smiling at them, and people are freaked out, like what the hell, like this is not what we do around here, like.
Right.
And then I imagine like places, this cafe is like a bubble, like a field, and then my home is a field, and the all the streets are like hallways between
Mm,
rooms.
uh-huh.
And what I'm doing is I'm expecting the hallway, which is Instagram, I'm expecting the hallway to be like Rainbow Bridge Telegram. I'm expecting you get what I mean, right?
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
it's and it's not
Beautiful.
working.
It's a beautiful place to be though, because it's really coming from like child eyes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
disappointing and disappointing. Like you just landed on Earth and you're like, what the heck is wrong with you people? Well, I hate to break the sour news, Dennis, but they're not all people. That's part of the problem. They're not all people. And I do think that though it is like culturally or society, because I'm from the South in the United States, and it is I've lived out in California and now live in the Midwest, um,
Mhm.
in the United States. So there is a difference in all three of these places that I've spent a good enough amount of time to really feel the vibe of just kind of what's, you know, considered to be polite or
Mm.
considered to be how people relate to one another in a general way. And it is different. Like the South is much more hospitality, like Southern hospitality, they always call
Mhm.
it. So there's a much more like, hey, how you doing? Oh, thanks for coming in. Oh, you need
Mhm.
anything? Oh, kind of this type of energy, you know? Or and here not so much.
Mm.
It's like people just kind of don't do that, you know? And I
Mhm.
mean, and to a certain degree, when we're talking about just being polite versus being like authentic, you know,
Oh yeah.
um, which is different, you know, like I went to, there's this place called Savers in a neighboring town. It's like, it's a giant thrift store basically. And on Mondays they have half off on everything in the store, and you can find some really nice stuff, like even organic clothing and like linen, and like I
Mhm.
like to go in there and find like old lady sweaters basically from
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
80 department stores from the mall. They're like, you know, really nice, and then you get it for like
Mhm.
$5, you know. And um me and my sisters, my soul sisters, we're in there, but we're not on the same row. So we just see something we like, or we think it's the other, like for the other person, we just hold it up, even if the other person's like 5 aisles away,
Mhm.
call them a whistle, like a bird whistle, and then talk to each other across the whole store.
Mhm.
And some people look like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're doing that. Some people laugh like, oh, I can't believe they're doing that. That's so great that they're being themselves. And then other
Mhm.
people pretend like nothing's happening. You know, it's hilarious to me, you know, when you're just
Mhm.
be you, even if it's, you know, and I will say that my father was a very interesting man, or he is an interesting man, but even more so when he was younger. And he was born in the Netherlands,
Mhm.
and he's just very big energy, big personality. Like there's absolutely no filter
Mhm.
of what he says or doesn't say. And so growing up, I was actually like embarrassed a lot. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe my dad's doing this right now. Like, I can't believe
Mhm.
this is so not okay with society, you know?
Yeah.
And then now that I'm an adult, I'm grateful because not only do I feel um just more inclined, I mean, I do have Sagittarius in Mercury, so I can be kind of a candid talker, you know,
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
um but for the most part, because I am very open in my expressions and just being myself, if that's where I'm at. Sometimes I am more introverted just naturally, but I
Mm-hmm.
feel that it does open up opportunity for others who want to be that way to be that way,
Mm-hmm.
and be more themselves. And there's this kind of, oh, I'm not going to be judged, because it's like it gives permission for people to
Yeah.
just kind of be themselves without any kind of like, oh God, they're going to think I'm crazy, or oh, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of rewiring, I suppose. But um yeah, but the big cities is even different. It's even more different, right? Because it's all being like entrained to this mind scramble.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I like, it's very hard to um the first I want to say I definitely agree before I move on to this about the cultural differences and everything, because I was like Sweden and then Croatia for a little while and then Spain here. And then you can see like in Sweden, people walk down the street with like uh, a huge bubble around them. Like personal space is much bigger than, let's say, Croatia. And then when I came from Croatia to Spain, now here is even closer how people closely stand next to you in aisles or walk down a street next to you. It's very different. It's like tribal versus individual versus collective. Like Sweden is very individual, Croatia is more tribal. Here is even more tribal. So I get these things. And then you said mind scramble. I got this. That's the second thing yesterday. Is I got really mindful about like how much tension I'm holding in the space around my eyes and in the space like basically where the sinuses are. And I realized, I mean, many times before I realized this, but yesterday I was reminded that when you walk around, you basically see all the people frowning. And then I remembered it was like an Indian saying or something from some Instagram quote somewhere, I don't know, but it has been circling around in the internet for a while. And was like this chief of some Indian Native American tribe. He said that like the first time Western people, like Europeans or colonizers came, he couldn't believe that like what was the default face of a white man, and it was like scrunched up like crumpled paper. It was like the man the man was carrying all his problems, all his trauma, all his pain in his face all the time, like a spasm he couldn't get out of. And I feel it's contagious. I feel like when we look at each other, we mimic, of course, we mimic body language, we mimic breathing patterns, everything. We harmonize, we synchronize. And it's very difficult. And I was very mindful yesterday. Okay, relax your eyes, relax your eyes. Don't use knife eyes, use baby eyes. Like look at people like babies. Don't look at people like, tasks to be overcome, because everyone, like you said, what is the next thing? What is my to-do list? And then you also look at the person that you're walking. I have to avoid this one. I have to avoid that one. I have to, and then this like you say, mind, I'm really becoming conscious of how much it's a prison, how much of course with the phones and everything. But yeah, yeah, I'll pause there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of, I feel like there's two different things like that we're really talking about, right? And it's like one is a very deep wound that has occurred like in our mitochondria, like within our blood lineage, of um a certain type of energy that we're kind of just have imprinted on us, you know, as far as how we conduct ourselves, or what it means to be a softer man, what it means to be a harder or firmer woman, or what it, like how we have to kind of be to survive or be to thrive, you know, or like what does that look like? And I feel like those constructs that started as soon as people were being, you know, colonization really, you know, started, which was the beginning of you know, when gold was really mined. It began like gold began mined, and then people excuse me, people had to you know, at first women would wear gold to bring them closer to Father God, the sun, like the energy of the frequency of like connected to source spirit. That's what gold represented. And then gold and women were colonized, basically. Like, wait, we can't have you connected with God, because that would make you not only a bearer of life, which we don't get, and that's a mystery of itself, and then you're wealthy wearing gold because you're intact with your spiritual fatherhead. So that makes you too powerful. So we need you to stop. We're going to enslave you, women, and separate you so that you're alone. And then we're going to rape the earth and steal all the gold and become the most powerful whoever we are in the world. And then that just was replicated over and over and over again, that whole type of energy. And it wasn't just women. It started that way, but then it became this other thing of the masculine and the feminine, you know, within, and this internal struggle of, am I connected? Am I not connected to God's source, head, sun, the light that actually heals the mitochondria? So like the mitochondria is connected to our mother lineage, our mother wounding, which is really connected to the father wounding. And then it's all this whole repetitive loop of experience trauma and how we depict it into our everyday. So we have that as human beings.
Yep.
And then we have the mind scramble thing, which is the agenda to continue and perpetuate the disconnection of our rights as true, full-blooded Christ beings of regenerative, restorative, revitalizing cellular light body. So the scramble is a control over the mind. So they use the towers in the cities to put out frequencies that scramble the head, or literally scramble the frequencies in the mind, so that we lose our mind. And then when we lose our mind, we're more easily not only shepherded, but we're also more easily, you know, in the fear space. And then we do things that are in going to continue that separation to the point where we don't even have, like, the blood is actually continually hybridized, so that then human beings that we kind of see in these matrix suits are not even humans anymore. And then when we're trying to make connection, it's like, whoa, I can't even connect with this because it's not even real. These people aren't real anymore. They're just shells, because their soul's been so fragmented, and now they have all these genetically modified ingredients that are running through their cerebral spinal fluid, communicating to every cell of their body of false information. So I'll pause there. I know that was like a rainbow hose.
I for a long time reading sometimes on social media, people saying like soulful beings and soulless beings. I wasn't able to accept that. I wasn't able to accept like a fact that like some people are born like this and some people are not. And I resonate with what you are saying, which is it's not like that. It's just that more and more people are, like you say, all the chemicals in the food, all the E100 something, E500 something, processed sugars, all the stuff that keeps you locked, like, um, and who knows what else. I don't even have to go and all that, but that changes how like our blood is supposed to be, like you say.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, over time, you have childhood trauma that is unresolved. You have programming in the news, fear, interpersonal relationships, like bonds with people you cannot break. You don't know why. You're locked into that. It's perpetual every single day. So I get that, and this is how I was able to accept, like, when you say not all of them are human, there's a big part of me that just says, no, you can't say that. Like, you can't, like, I won't allow myself to believe that certain beings outside walking are human and certain are not. Certain have souls, certain not. No, what I see, everybody's human, everybody's equally worthy, and everybody has a soul, but the big majority is, like you say, so fragmented, so changed by unnatural substances and by like phones and the Bluetooth headset that everyone is using, and you know, attention span that makes your breathing 2 second inhale, 2 second exhale, 2 second inhale. I was on the metro the other day, like yesterday, when I was going to that small town, and I was just observing, and there was this grandpa sitting right next to me, and on the outside he's still, he's sitting down, he's looking straight ahead, you know, like enjoying the sunshine. He seems kind of tense, but okay, you know, somebody just looking at him would say, okay, this guy has no problems. But I'm looking at his shoulders and I'm looking at his belly, and it's like 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1, and I'm like, oh my god, like what, how many thoughts per second is this, how much, you know, frantic energy is this? So yeah. That's the answer. Yeah, that's the answer. The thing that bothers me is, like you say, going out with child eyes. I believe I'm still, um I'm still not ready to grow up and see the world as it is. I'm still not ready to accept that
Mm-hmm.
when I go outside, I'm not gonna see a big sandbox of people running towards me. Hey, you want to play?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I mean, absolutely. And I mean, the thing about the soul fragmentation is it's you we can all gather the fragments.
Mm-hmm.
We can gather the fragments, you know, because every time something traumatic happens within this life and other lifetimes, and if you know you don't believe in that, then we look at it just generationally of things that have happened to our, you know, mothers, and on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
That gets incarnated into our DNA, you know, it structuralizes our waters so that then we do actually vibrate that and attract similar occurrences that our ancestors experienced. And if it's just on that line, cool, you know, I mean, for me, I believe that we, uh, we live many different lifetimes to learn certain lessons to expand and be able to, you know, show up in a capacity that's going to bring more peace and prosperity and equality and all these
Mm-hmm.
things to this earth realm, this earth plane. Um, but that in order for us to embody that, that's part of the process, is
Mm-hmm.
bringing all aspects of self back into this unit. And I mean, most people have soul fragmentations even at birth. Like the birth trauma
Mm-hmm.
is insane. And even for a quote unquote standard hospitalized birthing that had checked boxes, nothing traumatic happened, was still traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
Being pulled out, and getting pricked and getting pulled upside down and then put on the cold thing. And then like how many minutes even goes by before you even get to be held skin to skin with your mom. I didn't birth my children that way. I had both of mine at home in water.
Nice.
But I'm just saying that there's that. And then it's my belief that I have a very interesting viewpoint for a long time. It wasn't like I just decided this is what I think now, you know. But probably since I was around 23, 22 or 23, and I started really going, I was actually like I was a Rasta woman at that point. So I was very much about my Bible, and I studied the Essenes Gospel of Peace with Jesus, Yahshua, the Melchizedek lineage, which was the apparently was like the true human bloodline. It said, and when I say true human, huma, like full spectrum human being with all the like source, creator, God frequencies moving through and activated. That being, that human that we are a very valuable light system because we are the ultimate tool of regeneration that we can power on with just the elements, you know, and most of all the other things that we say we need are really sensational just for our own sensations, like consumption wise, you know, food being one of them. But because of that, so let me back up. So I started to read about when I was really into all these things I was saying. I got this book called The Melchizedek Lineage, The War in the Heavens. And that was when I started to, and there's a lot of crazy stuff on the internet about some of these topics. But, and I'm not going into any type of conspiracy. I've never been a conspiracy theorist, whatever, however I say it. I just like, oh, this feels, this is a sense of knowing, you know? And then I would read, and then some stuff I'm like, oh, this sounds like some crazy talk, or there's something here, and keep going deeper on it, you know? But because we are these light being generators and we are the ultimate tool for generating life force energy with almost nothing that we other than the elements, that we're very valuable. So our soul has become a hot seat ticket. And that's why at Rainbow Bridge it's important for us to have a grasp on 2D's paperwork, right? Excuse me. And because when we are born, and before we even had hospitals where we sign papers like birth certificates, there is a certain legality of what are we signing our life to. And so without going too much into all these little details of what I'm really talking about, but it's basically like there's outside agendas to have ownership of our soul and our life force energy. So in the Matrix game that we're all here, there's another thing that's attempting to be orchestrated. And that does show up in the food. That does show up in the water. That does show in the vaccinations. That does show up in consumerism. That does show up in sex addiction. That shows up in all these different agendas that are being pushed that are distractions for what's really going on as far as our sovereignty and the implications of every choice has a ripple effect. And so because we are free will, free liberated beings at our most, you know, like at our 0 point, when we're like totally in our like our higher self embodiment, that we can blast through all of that, but that's also part of the agenda, is to trick as though there isn't a way out. So then we
Yeah.
just keep on the hamster wheel. And so when I'm saying true human, I'm talking about like our blood is healthy. Our blood
Mm-hmm.
and our bones are still natural. Like there's still earth and sky and fire and water and trace mineral and crystalline, and like that's who we were designed to be, not synthetic GMO beings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gave a lot. I hope I didn't overshare.
No, no. However it flows.
Yeah. Yeah, and of course that's just my perspective, and what resonates with me and resonates with um why I feel I'm here. And I I have been told since I was young, like, oh, you're such a bridge, from
Mm.
my spiritual friend, like my parents' more spiritual friends are like, oh, you're such an old soul, like you're a bridge from the what the quantum, essentially, like what's really going on, and then how to
Mm.
be in a way with it. So some of these topics can get a little like sci-fi woo woo too much, you know.
Yeah, no worries, no worries, no worries. Nothing is too much on a big enough picture.
Yeah, well, I mean, for no, but like for generally,
Mm-hmm.
people, uh it's of our best discernment to speak maybe just a step ahead of where somebody's at, because then it's, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I can see where I can make that step. But when we're talking really big, it's like, this is overwhelming and I think you're nuts, you know.
It's like the best way to teach children, right? Is to, if they're in third grade, speak to them in fourth grade language, so they kind of take that next step.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's a great way to say it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've been so many times. I didn't do the that grading with people. I was like, yeah, I feel like my conclusion about, let's say, my side of this talk is expecting everyone around me to have read everything that I've read, to have gone through all the
Mm-hmm.
stuff that I've gone through, to see the world through my eyes, to be able to, with ease, talk, and everyone around me is just like, yes, yes, I agree, yes, I've seen that, I've heard that. But like so many times in my life have I skipped the steps, like you say, and not speak on one level above somebody's understanding, but like straight from, hey, my name is Dennis, what's your human design chart? Are you designed to lead and guide? Are you designed to generate? Can we talk about your placements? And it doesn't work that way. I mean, I don't have to talk about human design with every single person, but the gist of the thing is the sharing, the oversharing. I have some parts of me that are slightly on the spectrum, and one of those is info dumping
Mm.
as a way of connecting with people. Where for those who are maybe going to listen to this on some platform somewhere, info dumping is how people with autism like to. It's basically a conversation where I sit and I talk about things that I've read, and then you talk about things that you've read, and we just share info. And there is no, it doesn't have to be a conversation that has that the majority of people like. The structure of the conversation is really different.
Mm-hmm.
And where was I going with this? And then yeah, and then that's also kind of my love language, and I use it on people like, hey, I'm just gonna sit now and I'm gonna talk to you about this book I've read, and it's gonna take me 20 minutes because I feel it's something you should you could and you should, I mean, like you should, yeah, you should listen to because it could benefit you. But then I don't take into consideration. I just go, this is my language. I've read this. This could help humanity. There you go. There you go. Not looking at the person, the capacity, the even interest or whatever. It's just there it is.
Yeah, and then it's like if that's your love language, like what I make that mean is that, what that's your connection, like that's how you want to connect. And
Mm-hmm.
then what about like then the disappointment, you look at their
Yeah.
face and they're like, yo man, you lost me like 18 minutes ago and I'm really awkward now because I don't even know what to say to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can imagine how like the podcasts and the audio recording would be great, and that makes a lot of sense to me. My older daughter isn't like diagnosed on the spectrum, other than I've had some like intuitive readers tell me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that she's just on a different frequency, basically. And I've also heard that she's like an HSP, highly sensitive person. I don't know if you're familiar.
Oh yeah.
um, yeah. So for her, it's like talk, 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 talk. And so I've been telling her, like, you could just start like a YouTube channel, or you could just like record yourself,
Mm.
just like talking about whatever you want to talk about. Because she does know a lot of stuff. You can just like ask her, just random stuff like the lifespan of a hamster,
Nice.
and, like just whatever. Because she'll just start, watching YouTube clips or reading world record books and stuff. So that's helpful to hear for me because it's good for everybody to have their way to process. And I'm sure you probably get like insights too of like, oh, like now that I've vocally processed this, now it's
Mm-hmm.
integrated, and now I have these other insights, and now I know what else I want to research, and that's really exciting you know
Yeah. Yeah, we need other people for processing more than we realize. And I believe that a lot of people on the spectrum are actually projectors and reflectors. So do you know her chart and everything? No?
she's a manifesting generator.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. um I'm sure there's other things in her chart that would tell more, of course.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a general. It doesn't have to be. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah,
uh,
talk, talk, talk. You know.
that's so amazing that we're coming into this age of not diagnosing children with ridiculous names for just being who they are because like they carry the frequency. Like I was walking now back from I went to buy a pineapple and I'm coming back. Okay, I have a call with Rachel, then I have this other thing, and I'm walking back disappointed with humanity a little bit, like I just said. And the last two people that I meet are two little girls on the street playing, and I just felt their energy. They looked at me, no judgment, whatever. They continued playing, and all of the other people, all of the 50 people before them, were just nullified with that little 5-second interaction, non-verbal interaction with two little girls playing with a ball in the streets. And when it's so amazing how our generation, how much we are giving power to the kids to lead us, as opposed to my parents and even maybe a generation above me. Maybe that's even you. I don't know how. I believe you guys are slightly older than me, maybe 5 to 10 years, something like that. It doesn't matter. But what was I gonna say?
I was born
Uh,
in 85.
85. Okay, so that's 6 years. All right. So maybe five more years older than you is like the generation of 45-year-olds, 40, 45.
That's Sean. Sean's 5 years older than me.
Mm-hmm. All right, all right. So
Yeah.
what was I saying? Sorry.
About just the generation of from our parents.
Oh yeah, where it's impossible for them to acknowledge that I might know something that they didn't, and we are going into and we and I mean that's absurd because of the age of the internet and everything. And but we are now going. That's where my point was is we are going into an age where I see so many communities really looking at the children as like, oh, oh, my daughter came to me today and she said, Mom, I think you need to take a few deep breaths before you proceed. And then I'm like, wow. And the mom is gonna do it. She's gonna sit down, she's gonna calm down. Or there's this community online, Human Garage, that I've learned all the fashion maneuvers from that I teach.
Uh-huh.
And when I look at their posts and everything, they have a few kids of their own over there, and the kids are being raised in a community, which is where we are going as humanity, like raising kids with more like, okay, you have your mom and dad, but then there's this other 50-year-old person, then this other 50-year-old female person, and more of them to communally support each other. And
Yeah.
I see that with Human Garage, but I also see not but and I also see how they were talking about specifically this one girl. She goes around, let's say they've just had a meal, everyone's sitting down or whatever, and she goes around and she feels, okay, you are tense, you are not that good emotionally. She would just come to you and be like, I can't have this at my table. We're not gonna have
Uh,
this. You need to step aside and we're gonna do some maneuvers. And then it's like they're starting to feel the sore thumbs, the wrinkles that need to be ironed out so everyone could function harmoniously.
uh-huh.
And
I love
and I believe we all have this. As they say, when children cry, they're actually complaining about the energy in the house.
right.
And
For the
uh,
most part, that is true.
yeah. I mean, of course, there's physical stuff as well. Yeah.
Or that
Uh,
they're not getting away. They'll,
or the, or sorry.
they'll cry about that sometimes too.
Oh, sorry. Or they don't get. Can you repeat? I just didn't hear.
Oh yeah. I said, or if they don't get their way, because they're at that age. At that
Oh
age,
yeah.
they're navigating what it means to comprehend and think maybe before the other person, like parents or community members. So what I notice is they'll they'll navigate their words in a way to like, okay, well, this is what I want, this is what I predict they'll say, so let's see if I can set up my words so that I can still get my way.
Hmm.
Like about like extra TV or another like a sweet treat or whatever, and it's hilarious because their brain is rapidly growing, so to witness
There,
their
there's
process is so cute and funny.
they're basically studying you and then testing out the waters, right?
Yeah, yeah, and then it's still like, no, thank you so much for expressing yourself, I really appreciate the request, but the answer is no. Oh man. Thought I had you on that one. Nope, I'm still ahead of you on what's going on here.
Nice.
Yeah. And it's beautiful, and that I want to look more into the Human Garage. I have their
Mm.
link from you sending it last spring.
Yeah.
That's cool that they'll live together. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're like I think they're very similar to Rainbow Bridge, like a non-profit organization. They want to heal everybody. So yeah, they're
Mhm.
really cool.
Beautiful. Well, Dennis, I'm feeling in a and I'd like to complete our space together, if that feels
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Definitely.
Um, I would like to say I had a lot of fun, and this was like my intention. I feel, came through as for
Mm-hmm.
me, as far as just like, I don't know what we're gonna talk about. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
So it was fun.
Thank you so much. If you want to close us out with whatever you want, you have the final word.
Oh, let's see. Um, well, I mean, I I would like to I would like to say that we all have the ability to shape our reality, and we also have the ability to be in a space of awareness of what's showing itself to us now. Like just reflecting on your shares, Dennis, and
Mm-hmm.
showing up with the child eyes, and part of the emotions that come up, or the thoughts that come up, and perceiving where everybody is. I feel that it's a part of the process. Like, you're seeing what you're seeing because it's a part of where and how you're transmuting and healing as an individual. And I feel that we all have that ability, and it's going to look different, for each of us, of something that is getting resolved. And we know this, right? Like, our internal
Mm-hmm.
then, is reflected out. Um, I just want to, you know, um, just name that of like, we're all here, and um, our network of supportive folks who are present to their own work and making it a priority to be in good ways with community. Um, we're becoming more seen. We're reaching
Mm-hmm.
out. We're here. It's like we had to go through all this stuff to be
Mm-hmm.
okay with being seen again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and so, yeah, I just want to shower some love and hope in that way, and also gratitude to you, brother. Thank you so much for
Mm.
being on the journey as a unique man, and also with a space of collaboration and co-creation. I'm super stoked, and this time was really nice to I feel that I know you a little better, and I hope you know me a little better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say so Rachel has been and still is a part of Rainbow Bridge. I'm also a part of Rainbow Bridge. All the stuff is going to be in the description or whatever platform this is going to be on. If anybody wants to join us, there's a Telegram, there's going to be websites, courses, a lot of stuff coming. So I'm just going to link, or whoever is going to use this content, however, is going to link stuff, and you can join and talk with us the same way, same casual stuff, supportive community. You will be updated. Okay. Thank you, Rachel.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a beautiful rest of your day.
All right. Peace, health, and abundance. Welcome to the channel. Subscribe, like, leave a comment below, ask a question, or share your story. Check out my audio courses: Human Design Basics, Intermediate and Advanced, Human Design Projector Masterclass, and Elemental Balancing course. You can listen to the first lesson of each course for free. Once purchased, stream as much as you like and learn at your own pace. Check out the testimonials from happy students. Join the League of Wanderers community. You can join on the weekly community and support calls. You can book one-on-one personal human design reading and coaching calls with me. You can join us on the Insight Timer app for stress release movement classes and Q&A sessions. There is a newsletter you can sign up for. and there are my free ebooks to download. My merch web shop is available if you would like to get my original artwork and designs printed on a variety of high-quality products. You can also contact me for commissions and graphic design work. Last but not least, you can follow me on Instagram. All the mentioned services and offerings can be found on icreatelines.com, and also check out the description of the video for more details. If you have any questions of any kind, if you would like to collaborate, if you want to come on a podcast, or you have suggestions and feedback, don't hesitate to contact me. I wish everyone peace, health, and abundance.